Dr. Baudouin Tameze. Hello.
Hello, and welcome to my office.
Could you please tell us who is Dr. Baudouin Tameze?
My name is Dr. Baudouin Tameze. I was born in Chapelle d'Aubily, this is in Yaounde. I went to school in École Publique du Plateau at Tameze, and then I went to Lycée Général Leclerc when I did the first part of the secondary. And then I went to Lycée Classique de Bafoussam, and I ended up there writing my baccalaureate. After baccalaureate, I went to Higher Teachers Training College in Yaounde where I did mathematics. And then I worked for 2 years as a civil servant. I went to the Netherlands to study math and statistics. I got the master's degree there, and then I went to Germany to do a PhD at the Technical University of Dortmund in mathematics and statistics. And after that, I started working. I work in several countries. I worked in the UK, I worked in Germany, I worked in Liechtenstein, I worked in Switzerland, I worked in the United States where I did mostly research. I work in France. I am Cameroonian, although I have a German passport. I feel Cameroonian, I eat Cameroonian, and the German passport only allows me to travel all over the world to look for possibilities for young Cameroonian, may it be for studying or for vocational training.
You are the founder of Young Germans International School Complex. Tell us more about the school and how you got the inspiration to put such a project into form.
Thank you very much. The Young German International School Complex, or Le Complexe Scolaire International, les petits Allemands, or even in German, that's Internationale Schulzentrum Junge Deutsche, is a project where we aim to achieve three things. We want young Cameroonians that will have the chance to get the education at our structure to learn how to pass writing 60% per subject. We want them to study in an international environment where they will be able to speak at least 3 languages. And we want them to learn to work the whole day, not going home at 3 or not going home at 12. No, they will come at 7:30 and leave at 6:30 from class 1 till upper 6. In the nursery, they might go home at 4:30, but we're still capable of keeping them till 6:30. In the primary, we'll have what they call integrated bilingual. Some people call it 50-50, and we'll close the day by learning a language that is obligatory going to be German and optionally going to be Chinese or Arabic. When we say integrated bilingual, it means our students in the primary will receive teachings in French in the morning for the first week, in English in the afternoon, and the next week it will be in English in the morning and in French in the afternoon. And the students can get into our school at each level, like even if they've started somewhere else, we have a specific plan to accept them into our program. In the secondary, we'll have a French section and an English section, and each section will offer additional hours for the languages which are missing in order for our students to speak fluently 3 languages upon writing the A level. I take, for example, somebody who is doing the English section in the of secondary education. He will be having additional French and additional German to be able to master the 3 languages while writing upper 6. The Young German International School Complex is a new concept in Cameroon. Our vision is empowering students to allow them to easily enter into top universities abroad, to ease their entering into medical faculty abroad. We train people to become medical doctors, to become engineers, to become accountants, to become bankers, to become lawyers. We do not train them to become nurses, assistant nurses, caretaker, or technicians. No, I'm sorry to say that. I don't mean to be arrogant, but we think our target is to focus on to find families that are willing to sacrifice enough to give a very competitive private education to their child. The time has come to produce over average competitive Cameroonians that will lead and pave the way for other people that might work for these specific Cameroonian upon when they finish their education abroad and create jobs in Cameroon.
So why the choice Young Germans?
Young Germans because living in Germany for 20 years, I realized that they have lots of discipline there. It's a very rigorous country. And if we train and educate our children from daycare till upper six, showing them German rigor and discipline, if we couple that, they will be very successful. That's why we say young Germans.
There are similar institutions out there offering these projects. What is the particularity of young Germans?
The particularity of young Germans is that we train students to work hard and especially learn to work the whole day. That's what we call whole day care. It's a system we're importing from Germany, where we get the children from 7:30 till 6:30, allowing parents, by the way, to fulfill their daily activities without asking the question, who's going to take care of the child as of 2 or 3 p.m.s when they're normally done by standard school. We're a private school, and at the private school we organize ourselves to educate children slightly differently, even if we start with the governmental curriculum. So we would like to keep them the whole day. We like to get those children to perform writing 60% per subject, not as an average. And it is a challenge to get those children get accustomed to understanding that less than 60% is not good enough. Lots of countries have been doing that. Look at South Korea, look at Japan. These are countries that are wealthy countries that develop themselves within a couple of years, a couple of decades, and this is something that can happen to Cameroon if we succeed changing mentalities. Those young kids, they should stop thinking that a holiday is a good thing, a free day at school is a good thing, that we should be done by 3:30. We want them to learn to work hard, and this is what makes us different from all those people offering this type of services. We're not a standard secondary or standard international complex. No, we want full day boarding. We want 60%, and these are things we're aiming to achieve. We want people to speak multiple languages. 3 languages are going to be compulsory. In addition, one will have the option for learning Arabic or Chinese. The 3 compulsory languages are English, German, and French. And it has scientifically been proven that when a child is about 7 or 8 years old, he can learn up to 10 different languages. So asking them to speak 3 languages is more than normal.
Can you tell us what is an international school?
An international school is a school where people learn multiple languages. International schools is a school where we have an international curriculum. We're an international school, but based in Cameroon. So we'll go from the Cameroonian curriculum, and from there we'll add enough element to make our students worldwide competitive. International schools is where we can write the International Baccalaureate, which is an international exam that has 6 subjects. We'll write the German International Abitur, which is the German International A-level. It has 5 subjects, 3 are written, 1 is oral, and 1 is a seminar. We will offer Montessori education from daycare till end of primary towards secondary, but all that will be centered around the Cameroonian curriculum. Because at the end, we want our students to write 3 secondary school leaving certificates. 1 would be the German A-level, 1 would be the International Baccalaureate, and 1 would be the standard Cameroonian A-level or Baccalaureate. We want them to succeed that exam with at least 60%. We want them to fluently speak at least 3 languages and ideally 5 languages. We want them to learn that working hard and the whole day is the only solution to be extremely competitive. But staying at school from 7:30 till 6:30 does not mean that we only do teachings, we only do education. No, we have some other activities like sport, we have some other activities like martial arts, we have some other activities like learning music. There will be some extracurricular activities like growing crops or doing some fisheries. We want also to keep the child the whole day because we want to control his free time. And that is something we need to be able to do to prevent him from hanging out with the wrong people in the neighborhood.
By implication, you mean the certificates issued here are international certificates?
The certificates are going to be issued by 3 different organizations. The exam will be written here at the Young German International School Complex, but for the International Baccalaureate, you have the International Baccalaureate organization that corrects the exam. For the International German A-level, you have the country Germany that would correct the exam. And for the Cameroonian Baccalaureate, you will have Cameroonian correcting the exam. So these 3 exams done in Cameroon, we will receive the certificate from those 3 countries or institutions, and those 3 certificates are recognized worldwide. And we hope our students would be lucky enough to pass at least one of these exams with good grades to be able to enter into this university or these medical faculties easily.
While opting for this model of education, did you sample the opinions of parents to get their concerns as far as the education of their children is concerned?
This is a very important question. This Young German International School Complex is the second educational project we're running in Cameroon. The first project was called Student Collègue Étal. By running Student Collègue Étal, we realized that we had very poor A-level and very poor baccalaureate. If you hold a meeting with 200 participants and you ask them, people that have A-levels with 60%, you will have less than 5. So we decided then to start the project from scratch, where we take people from daycare and bring them up to upper 6 with the 60% culture. And that is something we have to do, because if a guy is used to having 60%, not only will he write a good secondary school leaving certificate, but he will have the ability to successfully terminate his studies once abroad.
Tell us, which language background do you get your students from?
Many thanks for the question. We get Francophone and we get Anglophone. Let me explain how the structure is going to be. In the primary, we'll have integrated bilingual. Half the time French, half the time English, and we'll terminate the day by receiving some German, some Arabic, or some Chinese classes. If you have a guy coming to us willing to, an Anglophone going to class 4, he will compulsory visit class 4 with the obligation to deliver 60% per subject. But since he has not started the corresponding Francophone, he will be a guest for the Francophone class with the obligation to attend the classes and to write the exam. For him, we will not be expecting 60% in class 4, but we'll expect him to develop his French knowledge so as at upper 6 to give us a fluent knowledge of French. The same applies to a Francophone coming to our school. He will be doing Francophone section compulsory and visit the Anglophone section as a guest with the obligation also to write exams there. For the secondary now, we have the Francophone section and the English section. But if we take, for example, the Francophone, we'll give them enough English and enough German for them to, by leaving upper 6, have a comfortable command and fluently speak the 3 languages that are the backbone of our program.
Okay. What becomes of your students when they complete from here with their advanced level certificates?
That is really the key question to all this. We're not training them to say you have your A-level, bye-bye. No. Our job starts when they're approaching this A-level. We're not training people to become nurses. We're not training people to become caretaker. We're not training people to become assistant nurse. We're not training people to become technician. No. We're a private structure of secondary education aiming at training
top managers. We want medical doctors, we want engineers, we want lawyers, we want bankers, not employee of a bank, bankers. We want accountants. So we have only 24 till 30 places per class. If you look for classes or for educational structure where they're going to be 80 in a class, then you're not, then you are the wrong place. If you aim at seeing your child become a nurse, I have all this respect for nurses, but we want people to have this 60% plus to be able to put them into top universities, into medical faculties. This is the goal of our project, and our job is to hold the hand of the parents towards organizing the future of their child. We don't tell them you have A-level, go now. No, our job starts when those people have A-levels. We said the challenge today is not only educating them, we have to help them get into tertiary education. We have to help them secure an education that are going to make sure that they get a job, or not only get that job, but become managers themselves in terms of creating job possibilities also for Cameroon that stayed in Cameroon.
The new academic year will be coming up in about a month's time.
Yeah.
How are you preparing for this academic year here at Yaounde German Complex?
We obtain all the necessary authorizations from the government. We will be on time. We are doing some organization. We are recruiting people. They are passing interviews. Registrations are going on. If you get into classes, you will see that some benches and some boards have already been fixed. Transportation car are getting ready. We'll be on time for October the 5th.
Your response brings to mind the Montessori system of education, which I believe you are applying here. Can you tell us more about it and how it functions?
We would like children in the future not to be afraid. We like them to be more confident. We like them to express some more freedom. We like to listen to them and to discover their talent. And to do that, we need to give enough freedom and autonomy to children. We chose for Montessori because it has scientifically been proven that it's a good educational system, especially for very, 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 very young kids. We have to see the genius they have in them. We'll be glad if they show interest into opening books, learning mathematics, learning languages, doing social activities, interacting with people that are maybe 1 year or year and a half older than them. Montessori is a great method of education. We will do it here, especially in daycare, in nursery, in pre-nursery, in primary, and starting in the secondary. We'll come back to our international system that we mostly prepare our students to work hard into obtaining those international certificates we've been speaking about.
I believe you have an objective which you intend to attain by the end of the first year that you go operational.
Well, first get the parents to understand that it is possible to expect 60% from a child. Get the child to understand that it is normal for him to work the whole day. Get people aware of the importance of doing lots of sacrifices to give a proper international education to the child. And when that is gone, slowly Cameroonian will start understanding that we can work the whole day, we can ask 60% from the child. And these are things we'll really be happy to see people accept in the first 1-2 years of existence.
Aside this objective, do you have some short-term and long-term goals you intend to achieve with this project?
Well, with this project, we wish to make parents aware of the multiple educational possibilities that we have in Cameroon. We wish to open similar school in different parts, in other parts of Yaounde or in other cities in Cameroon. We wish to reassure parents that they are not alone in thinking or organizing the future of their children. we would just like to be the next international school offering this international school living certificate. And beside this school, we have also some other projects. We might be, hope in the next 3 to 4 years, opening a private hospital where we will train African young doctors and prepare them to do a specialization in Germany. This is also something we have in the pipeline.
Right. Before we take leave of you, do you have a special message to the parents, the guardians, and the students which you intend who are potential intakes of this complex?
I would like to say something to parents, and I wish they really understand, because the issue now, as I said, is not only to give them certificate. We have to help parents place their children into top universities, into good studies, in order for them to secure their own future in terms of getting a job and being and acting later as a retirement pension plan for their parents, for their families. So it's very important to give them a competitive international education. Passing the A level with E or D is not good enough anymore. We need to train children to write A and B's. In the worst case, maybe a C. For two reasons. First, they will enter into those top faculties easily, but they will even succeed abroad. And investing in the child should be the number one priority for parents now. We've been blessed by having lots of kids in Africa. All those developed countries have aging population, shrinking population. So if our students, our children are intelligent and competitive enough, we will easily place them there for nice education, competitive education, and the preparation we'll be doing in Cameroon. I will also take time to explain to them, think when you're studying or when you're working there, how you can create some jobs and some working possibilities for Cameroonian that stayed in Cameroon. It's not complicated to have a company abroad and to have its representation in your own country.
Baudouin Tameze, founder of Young Germans International School Complex.
Exactly.
Thank you for talking to us.
It was a pleasure receiving you.
Okay.
Have a lovely day.
Thank you.